Swivel seats are amazing, unless you're tall. Today, we fix that properly. Welcome to LeisureBit and welcome to the van build. In today's video, I'm tackling a job which I've been excited about from day one. I'm going to be fitting swivel seats to this 2025 Fiat Ducato, which I'm in the process of converting into a camper van. But that's not all. Because of my height, I'm also going to be fitting lower seat bases so that they work perfectly. We'll also look at the cost to give you a view of that. Let's get cracking. One of the key things I decided, I've been driving the eldest CV20 for a number of years now, and I had to put a heads-up display so that I can see the speed. And also, when driving along, sometimes you find you're looking at the headlining. You can see behind here, on this van as well, it's got a shelf also. When I picked the van up and was driving it back, I thought, this feels a more comfortable position, because there's not a massive difference, albeit the dash has changed and things, but the actual seating position hasn't really changed between the Series 7 and the Series 10. The previous van was a Series 7, this one is a Series 10 Fiat Ducato. One of the key things I wanted to get right was not to increase the height of the seat when I added the swivel, as the swivel adds about 4 centimetres in height, and that would just be too high, as I would then be looking at eye level would be somewhere around just below the shelf there, which is no good really. Brilliant in bright sunlight, but no good generally, because you end up having to hunch down to see the road or to look at traffic lights and things like that. And having seen the improved driving position, I thought, this is for me. After originally just ordering the swivels, I then made the decision to order the lower seat bases as well, as I wanted this van to be absolutely right and as comfortable as possible to drive. And it just lures me back to how it would come from the factory. So if you're a taller driver, it may be something worth considering this type of approach. I know some people have removed the swivel, specifically on a driver's seat if you're not going to turn it round. My design needs both of the seats to turn around, like so. Safety is really important to me, and when I did the research before buying, I made sure I selected things that had been tested and were approved. There were a lot of copy things around that didn't look like they'd been approved. I'm not sure what the quality would be like. It's really worth taking the time to make sure whatever you buy on anything like this to do with safety, you're using genuine parts that have been tested and are approved. The tools that I used for this were a T40 Torx bit, which was used for removing the screws which fixed the seat to the seat base, and also then connecting it back up to the swivel. And to remove the seat base, I needed a number 18 socket set. Do check on yours though, as it may be slightly different. The final thing I used was a slotted screwdriver to remove the cover on the battery compartment. I didn't film the whole of this, as I jumped at an opportunity. My daughter came round and she offered to give me a hand with it, so rather than spending time filming, I focused on getting the job done. But we'll step through the bits I have filmed and also fill in any gaps where it isn't filmed on what I did there. So hopefully it's still a useful video. First thing we need to do is to disconnect the battery before touching any of the seating wiring. For this job, disconnecting the battery is a really important step, because we're going to be disconnecting connections to the seat which have sensors for airbags and occupancy, and also for the seat belt. We don't want to be taking any chances and working live on it. There's the battery compartment. We're actually going to disconnect the negative lead here from there. I'm going to pop a bag round the negative terminal to act as an insulator. So the battery disconnected. Just to make sure we accidentally don't connect it back up, just tuck it down there for now. There we go. So next, just going to take this off the front of the passenger seat, and there's 2 bolts here and here, which we can use to remove the seat. It's a T40 bit. two in the back at each side on the seat, and the hooks are just behind here, hook in there. Going to remove the connector here and remove the last couple of screws, pop that out the way, and then there's the seat removed. I'm now using a number 18 socket to remove the bolt which holds the seat frame in. Right, so this now pulls forward like that and lifts out. Simple as that. There we go, one seat base removed. Just be careful not to catch the wire. Right, now on with fitting the lowered seat base. There's the lowered seat base bolted in, just hooked over the back and then bolted back in at the front here. There we go. Just popped a bit of masking tape on there just to keep the wire out the way while we're doing that. When fitting the cabling, you need to be careful to make sure it doesn't get caught up in the swivel mechanism, and also consider you don't want any wear on that cable, so I used a bit of conduit just to protect it the best I possibly could, and just fastened that on with some cable ties, which made a lot of sense as it then keeps the wire in the middle and it reduces the likelihood of it getting tangled up in the mechanism, because that's clearly going to be a nuisance if anything happens to that. The cable along there, and it just loops up there in the conduit, which just keeps it protected and out of the way of this mechanism so it doesn't get tangled up. Connector's just tucked in behind there out the way, and then it keeps this area clear. While I was on, I thought it was quite useful as well to reuse some of the restraining eyes that I'd taken out for other parts of the build project and actually fix a couple of them to the side of the seats, one on each one. Very handy as a restraint for the dog or anything really. I fitted those. I thought that was a good reuse of something, so a little tip for you there. Well, hello! Spin the seats round. How about that? Passenger side, done. There's the old bases. So there we have it. And there's driver's seat also. Job done. One last thing to do, connect the battery back up and hope everything's good there. Let's get the battery connection back on. There we go. So just before we put the cover on, pop the battery cover back on now. There we have it, two lowered seat bases. To operate them, you simply press them down and then they will turn and they'll lock back in position facing forward. There's the passenger side one, and you can adjust the seat forward and backwards as normal. And the great news is it hasn't increased the seat height by lowering the base. Pop something on to trim them off, but they don't look too bad. Obviously if you've got a handbrake it would connect on there. Mine's over here, nice and handy. I did get some help from my daughter, thank you Jessica for the help with that, but job done. Two swivel seats fitted. All of the things I used in this video I bought with my own money, and this video isn't sponsored in any way. I will pop a link in the description to where I got them from, just in case you want to do something similar. Let's run through the costs. The CTA Fiat Ducato Swivel seat base I got from Grasshopper Leisure. Two of those, £129.95 each when I got them in January, so £259.90. And the Sportscraft lowered single seat frame was from Jennings Seats to fit the Fiat Ducato, Peugeot Boxer and Citroën Relay 2007 onwards. Two of those at £134.40, and with postage on that came to £275.40. So the total cost was £535.30 to fit the lowered seat base and the swivel. That didn't include labour, and I got some help off my daughter. It took us a couple of hours to complete. Let's call it 2.5 hours when you take into account unboxing, getting rid of rubbish and tidying up and that sort of thing. So not too big a job and relatively straightforward. What would I do differently next time? All in all, the process was fairly straightforward. A couple of learnings. Popping a bit of tape on to make sure the wires don't get caught up when you're removing things. Second one, it was super helpful to have some help with it, especially when lifting seats off, as you've got various moving parts and you don't want anything falling off, so definitely worth getting a little bit of help if you do something similar to this. The other thing to remember, make sure you torque all the bolts correctly. The bolts at the back, which it hooks onto, were quite tight, so you did have to make sure you push it back properly. Other than that, it was all pretty straightforward, apart from getting the clip off, which was holding the cable. That was a little bit faffy, but other than that, pretty much straightforward. And as you would expect, which is always great when you do a job like that, I did the passenger seat first on purpose, and then if there's any problems, can still drive the vehicle and do the driver's seat second. Please let me know in the comments if you do anything different. Are you a tall driver? How have you found it? Have you found other ways to adapt? Alternatively, if you're a shorter driver, it might be the case that not having a lowered seat base makes the world of difference. I'd love to hear your feedback, and also any other things you've tried, because it's fantastic for other people to read the comments and understand different options. Thank you everybody who's fed back on the floor covering. I have ordered the wood version, as overwhelmingly that's what everybody recommended. So hopefully that'll be with us soon and we can finish the floor off with the covering. Thank you so much. If you're watching this after it's come out and you're heading to Harrogate next weekend, I'll hopefully catch you there, and we'll be back after that with another van build video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it useful, and I will catch you for the next bit. Bye!